Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Thomas. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. So I told myself when I started this channel I was going to give it my best effort to stay creative, to stay consistent, to deliver videos on a regular basis, and try to avoid that pitfall that a lot of content creators fall into where they stop creating after a few videos because they don't see a huge spike in numbers or whatever it may be. They just don't have the time to do it. And, I really wanted to make my best effort to do that. But looking back, I made a few videos, and it's just a strange time right now with the COVID-19 thing and everything just going on in the world politically and health-wise and social-wise, really, just the entire state of the world. It's been kind of a struggle, to be honest, to stay motivated to do these videos, to stay excited, to stay inspired, and to stay creative. And that's why I thought today would be a good day to get back on track and do a video on how to stay creative during times like this. It'll be a quick one today. I just have a few bullet points to kind of cover on what I've learned about staying creative and staying inspired over the years, and especially over the last few months, and how I've kind of got re-inspired to do these videos again, and just also reframing how I kind of foresee this channel being. I really want to keep things short and sweet. I want to be able to produce more content, but maybe less long form, so that inspires me to get out and create these videos a little more often. Specifically, I'm thinking things like maybe quick critiques or just reviews of user experiences or user interfaces that I see from day to day. There's always all kinds of cool things that I run across just in using software like the rest of you do from day to day, where I find a unique experience or something that's interesting to me and I might want to share it. Things like portfolio reviews, things like reviewing websites and the user experience of those, maybe like Apple or Microsoft, or giving my feedback on what I think. Hopefully that will be something that keeps me a little more motivated to do these videos. I still plan on doing more of the long form stuff like I kind of started out with, but I think this will give me an opportunity to be a little bit more creative and inspired about the content that I'm creating. I also plan to blend that with maybe adjusting the frequency. So it is hard to stay on track when you have a daytime job and you have things going on, family at home. Sometimes it's just hard to make videos, so I'm not going to hold myself to the golden leash of release every Wednesday or whatever, but I'm going to do my best and we'll see what that comes out to. I think allowing myself a little bit of flexibility and timeline will help. I'm also just trying to be on YouTube in some way, so I'm working on a game channel as well. I love gaming, I love playing games, always have since I was a kid. So I figured why not try to jump into that and stream a little bit of that as well. So anyway, today's video is going to be on how to stay creative, and I have a couple tips for you here on things that I've learned. So tip number one is to look at other forms of creativity and other outlets of creativity for inspiration. This can be things like looking at other YouTubers' videos, how they're doing things, how they're creating their content. This can be looking at fine art. I get a lot of benefit at looking at fine art and getting inspired by that. Inspiring my designs by, old paintings. It's interesting, but it works for me. Also getting inspired by things like other designers on Dribbble. Maybe you pop on Dribbble for an hour and just flip through things, flip through different patterns, new UI trends, new techniques. Those things can all be very helpful in kind of keeping you creative and inspired. So tip number two is to draw inspiration from others. And this can be others in your field, it can be others outside of your field. It kind of goes hand in hand with tip number one, in that you are really just looking to other forms of creativity, but this can be in your field, and this can be looking to others for inspiration, maybe even friends and family. I have a good friend who just started his YouTube channel, goes by Code 5 Art. He just started his channel a couple months back and is doing graffiti stuff just because that's what's fun to him right now, and he's enjoying doing it, and I can tell he's inspired and having fun with his channel. So drawing inspiration from others can be a really strong motivator and tool to help battle some of this creativity block. Tip number three is to look outside of your normal creative comfort zone. So that may be something like you start cooking, or you start cooking more if you already love cooking. Cooking is a great form of creativity and inspiration, and can affect you in weird ways and affect your work in weird ways. It draws from other creative outlets in the brain, I believe, but it could be something like picking up the piano or a guitar, or maybe sculpting, something like that, that is completely outside of user experience, user interface, and pushing around things in Sketch or Adobe Illustrator, but it still kind of gets those creative juices flowing and helps you as a designer kind of get back on track. Tip number 4 is to reframe your approach. And what I mean by that is, creative blocks can come from things like what's happening right now with the world and, outside sources that are out of your control. But creative blocks can also come from you being stuck on something that you just can't get over, or maybe it's a technique you've been using for years and you need to reframe your technique. Or maybe if you're a developer and you've been working in vanilla JavaScript for years, maybe you should jump into a new framework like Angular or React or whatever, just to kind of help get you re-inspired. I've experienced this myself when I switched to a new tool or a new preprocessor like Sass or Less or something like that, or even just a new code editor, IDE. Those things can just kind of create this weird source of inspiration. You feel like you're back in the flow, and just kind of helps keep things moving, I guess. And tip number 4 specifically applies to my situation right now, because I'm trying to reframe my approach of how I'm doing these videos. I'm, like I said, going to still continue doing the long form content, the more produced stuff, adding music, adding different stock photography, whatever, to kind of spice it up. But I'm also going to do a lot shorter content and some just kind of quick punch stuff that I can get out there and just create something. So tip number 5 here, certainly not least, but it is last in this list, is to keep moving forward. And that means just to keep your nose to the grindstone, keep moving forward. It applies specifically to me with this video channel and what I'm trying to do with this, because I just got to sit down and create videos. I just got to sit down and do the hard work. Some days you may not feel like it. You may not feel like sitting down and creating that video, but you just got to do it. Maybe you just don't feel like going into work for the day and you're just not feeling inspired or creative, or you have something else going on in your life. Those things can be kind of creative blocks, and maybe you take a half day off. Maybe you spend some time on YouTube for the morning learning a new technique or something completely outside of the problem that you're focused on at work, and that helps you kind of bypass it and get around it. It just takes time for some of these things. Some of these other tips on the list, or tips that you may have developed yourself, can be strategies for how to fix this kind of problem. But mostly it's just keep moving forward. You just got to keep doing the thing you're doing. And that's it. That's all I had for today. Just a real quick video. I just wanted to kind of get back into the groove of things, get creating again. And I thought this video was a good one. I thought it was a good, appropriate topic for how I've been feeling over the last few weeks. Thanks for joining me here today. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe, and get notified with the bell if you want to hear about my next video as soon as it comes hot off the press. But thanks for joining me, and let me know in the comments things you may have hated or loved about this video. And until next time, stay creative.